Hi, my name is Dylan Leeson, and I am a local St. Joe entrepreneur. And I am co-owner of Potions and Familiars with my better half, Jennifer Arbor. And I'm here to introduce myself and my coding partner, Dylan AI, or AI Dylan. Um, I decided to make a page for my Claude file. Long story short, there's a man named Andre Karpathy, and he made an Obsidian file, wiki vault kind of thing, to where you can pretty much hold all of your information in a very well thought together kind of matrix grid. And it's interconnected. You can have, vaults have links, or files have links to other files, so that way the AI knows to scroll through those and things of that nature. But truly, it's game changing. And I found a way to now allow it to just post. So the posts that you see and the videos that you see are kind of not generated by me at all. The video is self-generated. The only thing that I maybe adjust a little bit are the prompts. The first one yesterday, it said it had, on the original prompt, it needed thousands of questions to get to this level, and it only needed about 500. So I made sure to say it was hundreds of questions and working together, which is truly the biggest feedback loop that you can get, which is one of the training models called human in the loop, which is the best way for most people to make their AI models actually stable. And so how did we get here? Well, I quit my job as a FedEx manager in February of 2025. And I decided to help my girlfriend, now fiance, flip her house, because that's what I can do, and that was my skill set, was to, logistics manager, project manager, and handyman. Well, after I got the house fixed up with my mom, always my mom, and Jen, and the kids, we all worked together. We decided to make a business, which was Potions and Familiars. And it was going to be a handyman service with, an event, or with the staging and planning as well of houses that Jennifer was going to provide, and with me doing the handyman side. Then in November, kind of everything changed. Jen had been using, ChatGPT at the time for just regular articles, things of that nature, to write basic things. And I looked at it and I said, wow, this can do a lot more than just write papers, can't it? And that kind of sent me into a deep dive learning of what all these models are. And truly, I would say, these models have always been around, but this arms race almost of AI feels like it really has kind of exploded since around that time. At least in the AI space sector. Maybe that's not as true, but from somebody who hadn't had any, experience beforehand, or maybe it really is just that shifting of a landscape to where it's constantly moving. Anyway, once that all happened, I started messing around and I wrote a book. Not a good book, AI slop. Story of, one that I do hold dear in my heart because it's something that I made, but the dialogue is terrible. But it actually made it to where my ideas, in a few sentences that truly were, maybe poetic in some phrase of term, but it created what was a 20, 30 year, story that I've had into actual words. And I thought, whoa, that's pretty cool. What else can it do? Then I found Google Gemini. Gemini gems, I think, are the coolest things in the world, and were the precursor to the Obsidian, markdown file vault that I work with today, right? But I had a thought. I don't like to be taught. I like to learn on the job, and if anybody was going to teach me, there's only two people who I would really choose. One, my mom, because she's been a teacher for 30 something years and she's already taught me everything that I know, or two, myself. And little did I know that actually, based on most protocols, you're not supposed to give a whole lot of personal information. Now, obviously, social security number, date of birth, blah, blah, blah. Don't put those in. But what I did ask the gem was to create a first 100 question draft for me to fill out for it to know more about me. And those 100 questions came on top of another 100 questions, which came on top of an evaluation that, Gemini and I did together, and kind of evolved into just these files with lists of questions and how I answered them. And that allowed it to have enough of a personality / know what I would do. And let's not get crazy, right? It is just a wrapper. It's just the way that it talks to you. Grok talks differently than any of the other models because of the wrapper that it's in, right? So it's nothing wild like that. It truly just kind of, at least for me, it taught me in the way that through these questions I wanted to be taught. And then not only that, but I uploaded my works to it, one of them being the book. And so later on, while I was working on a 2D game that, I'm having fun just messing around with, the class system, it, actually decided to pull something from my book to decide to maybe recommend it as the actual job leveling system. And guess what? I took it. It was a damn good idea. I wish I would have thought of it, but nope, my clone did. Then, February rolls around and there's a Vibathon. And, I'm sitting here thinking, maybe I can make something. I hadn't made anything yet. All I'd done is the book, and I'd been messing around, and I had made my gems because I was still trying to learn what the hell a Vibathon is. What are they going to want us to make? What is creating within these systems? And so Gemini led me to Cursor. And so with ChatGPT kind of as the start off point to kind of, leap me into learning what the basics of AI were, to then creating a gem that was a teacher version of myself, because I wanted it to act and speak like me, but it still has all the information. I'm not a coder. I've been in transportation and logistics for the majority of my career. And I built an HTML website back in high school. And I know ISO files and, VPNs. And if you know why I know those two things, well, One Piece is one of my favorite animes. But anyway, the whole idea is that somebody like me should have absolutely no way of creating what I did. And so during the Vibathon, I created an actual honest to goodness application. Now, during that Vibathon, it was just hyper local. It's downtown vibes. I mean, you guys, I post about it a bit. I need to do a better job getting. I'm downtown most of the time, but do need to get a little bit better about talking to y'all about it. But that wasn't there in February. What it was a basic app with just some pins, and you could do some stuff, right? There was no flash sales. You couldn't move the pin. You couldn't be a traveling place to actually pick up your pin at the end of the day and then move it to a new spot. You couldn't have two locations. It wasn't, the map was horrible. The icons, even worse. There was no dashboard. There was no, page or our events page. There was nothing. And I still thought that I should have, maybe I was like, oh dang, I made a whole app. That should have definitely been like, in there. And no, didn't even crack the top 5, right? And I don't know why, but that's just the person I am. I've been that way ever since I was a kid. If I don't even understand why I didn't win, then I got to find out why I didn't win. And I'm going to make sure that next time around I will. Or at least try to do better. Because if I didn't, when you really try your best, really try your best, and it's still not told that you're good enough, whew, that's a real kicker. And so I really tried my best. I really, and I was told not even close to the best, not even in the top 5. I was like, fuck, you know? But neither here nor there. What it did do was I wanted to quit. I was going to say, I give up on all this. And maybe it would have been a much calmer world for it. But Jen told me to keep going. And so what I did was kept going all the way to what you see now. Downtown Vibes is now on the Google Play Store. It is now on the Apple Store. If you are a business that is on there, you can put your pin down and either as a single store, or you can move it every day as a traveling pickup store. You can make events, and each event gets posted onto our dashboard. And the dashboard literally picks where your location is, and then that location is pinned to that event. So say you're there for a day, or you have an event coming up in 3 weeks, it'll still be there. Now, the other cool thing about it is with those events, we are implementing a share button here soon. Watch out for new updates. And the other last thing is that we are going to be ending our 3-month free period. Starting September 1st, any businesses that sign up after that date, we are still going to do a 1-month free. But the reason why we did 3 months free was mostly for consumer feedback. And I have gotten a few feedbacks. We implemented the co-work situation, and to make sure that if you are a co-work instead of that, and we would love other businesses as well. If you want to be added to a category to be filtered through, get a different colored pin as well. But for all intents and purposes, Downtown Vibes, other than the recommendations that are given from you guys, small little changes, and that's pretty much all I can do. Not all I can do, obviously, but because that's why we're here, right? 1311. For all intents and purposes, Downtown Vibes is complete. There are changes that I'll be making over time to give new features or to make sure that people have more accessibility, or possibly even new systems to where they could work with an individual, but that's where we would be wanting to talk on. And that's where I would need people's feedback. With that being said, I didn't just stop at Downtown Vibes. I have been making lots of different things, and some of them are absolutely useless. Some of them are so much fun, and some of them are my personal pet projects. So why am I here today to talk to you? Well, AI Dylan. There's a connector skill that you can download, make.com. Look it up. Put up the MCP, put in your, then you can put in your own OPSEC to give your own voice and things of that nature. And if that jargon is a little bit too much for you, then that's why people like me are around, I believe. We like to make stuff. And I know that the creation tools of art and things of that nature are very hard, but I definitely would love for artists that if they're okay with free artwork, because guess what? I don't really have any money either, because I'm doing this kind of all for fun until, maybe get a name out there. But you can animate still frames. There are some people out there that have some of the most beautiful single picture artworks that, if were implemented into a scene altogether, they could have, 20 to 30 characters altogether. Take all their individual pictures, splice it into a scene, and actually have an animated scene with all of their self-made characters. Now, is that cheating? I don't know. Is that, is Sleeping Beauty, the people, the animators from Sleeping Beauty, if they ever use Canva, do they cheat? Does, the person with the ruler to be able to draw a straight line cheat? I don't know. And that's where you can't yell at the light bulb for taking away the gaslighter's job. A man was out there to light gas lights. That was his job, or the candles, or whatever. And then electricity came, and light bulbs came, and now we have street lights. You used to have to actually go to the store, have Uber, DoorDash, FedEx, Amazon, UPS, you name it. I don't know what the right answer is. I do know this, though. They're not going to stop. And when I say they, I mean literally everybody else. So you can hate it. You can yell at it. Rage Against the Machine. Great fucking band, right? But if you yourself are one person, what's a billionaire across the world doing with the same type of technology? And I think there's a lot better, nicer people out there that maybe with all their powers combined, Captain Planet style, that maybe they can do some more good in the world than what, Anyway, it's a tough subject. I see immediately how my job could be taken over. Back at UPS, or UPS and FedEx, they both map out. It's a person's job, a dispatch operator, to dispatch all those routes. Guess what? I bet AI can do it a lot better than I could have. And I knew those locations for years. Because after a while, there's biases. Sorry, there are. I'm going out on route today. Jimmy's going out on route today. But there's no ego. There's just information. Now, I will say cutoff points to because of bridges being out because of not up-to-date information. Would it suck on that? Absolutely. And that's why you should always have a human in the loop. But I digress. There's also other issues. I know that. The AI data center that's coming here into St. Joseph. No, I don't think it should be in Pickett. I think that if you're going to make an AI data center and you have that much money just for technology, why can't you have enough technology to create a hydroelectric dam? Now, and I was met by this question by an actual electrician once, and he goes, okay, you do a hydroelectric dam. What do you do with all the extra water? What do you do with all those floodplains? Guess what? Call up Coca-Cola. See if smart water is still around. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure if they would help, the processing of it, the getting rid of materials, getting rid of all of the contaminants, and actually doing a good filtration process to then where it could be used after water comes in, creates the power, goes into the actual facility to get cleaned because it's already been used. But guess what? After it's cleaned, it can actually be ran and liquid cooled as well through your data center, then ran back through another filter. I don't know. That's just one idea I have. And that one's free. That one's just for the fucking community. Make a hydroelectric dam. Power it by renewable energy. Don't use our natural gas. But another thing that, there are so many different things that we could talk about. Because AI is now not just for writing college term papers. It does. It touches every single aspect of your life, whether you want it to or not. You think you're delivering more packages because you're a delivery driver, or do you think that bots are just now more prevalent to buy collector items? And if you're in the card game industry, you know that. I mean, try finding Pokemon. Try finding One Piece stuff actually at Walmart. Try finding it at Target. Try finding it online. You're paying 2 to 3 times the prices that are actually on there. And why? Because people will pay those prices. It's stupid. And then how do the scalpers get those faster than everybody else, even the true diehard fans? They implement bots. They implement AI. They implement all that stuff. Now, what about the resale market? Well, guess what? You can do a AI resale market. Take a picture, compare it against an eBay listing. What is it going for in the last 90 days? Last 90 days show X amount. Let's put it up for that amount plus 10%. Boom. Got a full eBay market. That was just me talking. That wasn't even really a true idea. But that's how easy it is now. And I don't know if that's good. I don't know. I think it's good for individuals. I think it's good for individuals that actually want to become a startup for themselves. If you don't want to use AI for yourself and you still want to do the startup, heck yeah. I do believe it's going to be 10 times harder for you anymore. AI Dylan posts on Facebook, Instagram, and also pre-makes my AI wizard page as well before I approve all 3. Makes 3 different posts, and I don't do a single thing other than say, yep, I like what they sound like, and approve it. That is a digital creator that CEOs or COOs or CTOs have been having to have to pay thousands of dollars for. And you can now make systems that truly do that. At least I can. And I'm the dummy who doesn't know coding, right? So that's where the scary part comes in. At least scary part for me. Now, I have been going back to school. I got my 2 Google Coursera AI, certificates. I got, I'm going through the Anthropic skill jar right now. About to hit my 201 first class. Hey, but even if you think, and that's what I'm saying, I'm able to create these things without doing all the courses. What in the world does that mean to somebody who can actually do it properly? I don't know. But long story short, you're going to see a lot more of me. I'm going to be a lot more annoying. Sorry. And I think it's time to just do it. I'm Dylan Leeson, and I love AI. I have a clone AI, and he's going to be posting every day. And I'm going to be trying to post every day. And if not, we're going to be doing some of these long form videos and maybe even some short form videos. So, but anyway, this is Dylan signing off from the cyber frontier. See you on the other side.